There you are, settling into that familiar waiting room chair. You know, the one with the vinyl that makes that little squeaking sound when you shift your weight. And you're watching the clock tick past your appointment time. Again. The receptionist keeps glancing over with that apologetic smile. The same one your neighbor gives when her dog barks too early in the morning. You've got your list of concerns folded neatly in your purse or wallet, just like you learned to do during the Eisenhower years when being prepared really meant something. Maybe you waited 3 weeks for this appointment, had important questions written down on a piece of paper, but somehow you're already feeling that familiar knot in your stomach. You know, that feeling when you sense you might walk out without getting to tell your whole story. But here's what's happening behind that frosted glass door that might surprise you. While you're sitting there, patiently waiting like you've done countless times since Medicare cards replaced those old insurance booklets, some doctors are already forming opinions about you before you even walk through their office door. Not based on your symptoms, your health history, or even how you're feeling, but simply based on the year you were born. Have you ever walked out of a doctor's appointment feeling like you didn't get a chance to tell your whole story? Or perhaps you've experienced that moment, when a doctor dismisses a concerning symptom by simply saying, "Well, that's normal at your age." If you're nodding along right now, you're definitely not alone. Now, I'm not saying this to upset you or make you lose trust in healthcare. Goodness knows we've all lived through enough changes in medicine to write a book. From when aspirin was the cure-all to today's alphabet soup of prescriptions. But understanding what really goes on in some medical minds can be as powerful as knowing which questions to ask when your mechanic starts talking about your carburetor. The truth is, many of us who've lived through decades of experience, who've raised families, managed careers, and solved countless problems, sometimes find ourselves feeling invisible in today's healthcare system. Remember the family doctors of our day, the Marcus Welby types who'd sit down, look you in the eye, and actually listen. Those doctors who knew your family, remembered your concerns from last visit, and treated you like the intelligent, experienced person you are? Well, healthcare has changed dramatically since those Andy Griffith Show days of real relationships. Today, we're going to uncover what doctors really think about seniors. And more importantly, I'm going to give you the exact tools to make sure you get the respect, attention, and thorough care you've earned through decades of wisdom and experience. Are you having this conversation from your favorite recliner, at your kitchen table with your morning coffee, or maybe from that comfortable spot where you do your best thinking? Drop a comment and let me know. I love hearing where our community gathers to learn together. Before we dive into what doctors really think, let's talk about why this matters more than your morning coffee ritual. You see, medicine has changed dramatically since the days when Marcus Welby made house calls and doctors had time to sit on your front porch and really listen. Today's physicians often see patients like cars moving through an assembly line. Efficient, but not always thorough. Think of it like this. Imagine if Bob Vila was trying to diagnose problems with 50 houses in a single day. Even the best contractor might start making assumptions after seeing similar issues over and over. Oh, another creaky floor. Must be the foundation settling, instead of checking if it's actually termites that need immediate attention. That's what can happen in medicine when time pressure meets unconscious bias. The average primary care appointment is scheduled for just 12 minutes, but seniors typically need 18 to 22 minutes to properly discuss their health concerns. It's like trying to have a meaningful conversation with your grandchildren during a TV commercial break. Here's the science part. But don't worry, I'm not going to make this sound like a medical textbook. Research from Johns Hopkins and other respected institutions shows that ageism in healthcare is real and measurable. Studies have found that doctors spend less time with older patients, are more likely to attribute symptoms to normal aging, and sometimes provide less aggressive treatment options. It's like when people assumed your grandmother couldn't learn to use a VCR because of her age, except this time it affects your health. The fascinating part is that many doctors don't even realize they're doing this. It's not malicious like the neighbor who deliberately plays music too loud. It's more like unconscious habit. The way you might automatically reach for reading glasses when someone hands you small print. These assumptions have become so ingrained that they happen without conscious thought. But here's where your generation has a secret advantage. You've lived through enough changes, from rotary phones to smartphones, from 3 TV channels to hundreds, to know that assumptions about age and capability are often dead wrong. You've probably had to advocate for yourselves in countless situations, from workplace discrimination to family dynamics. Those same skills that served you well when you were proving you could handle new technology or take on new challenges. They're exactly what you need in the doctor's office. Research from Johns Hopkins shows that when seniors use specific communication techniques, doctors actually spend more time listening and provide more comprehensive care. Think of it like tuning in an old transistor radio. When you find the right frequency, everything comes through crystal clear. The key is knowing exactly what these assumptions are, so you can address them head-on with the wisdom and directness that comes naturally to your generation. Now, you might be thinking, I've been dealing with doctors for decades. Why is this suddenly such a big issue? Well, the landscape has shifted quite a bit since the days when your family doctor knew 3 generations of your family and could spot your car pulling into the parking lot. Today's healthcare system moves faster than a Lucy Ricardo scheme. And unfortunately, that speed can work against thorough, personalized care. Doctors are seeing more patients than ever. Electronic health records have replaced those thick paper files where doctors used to write detailed notes. And insurance companies are breathing down everyone's neck about costs and efficiency. For your generation specifically, this creates a perfect storm. You're dealing with more complex health issues than you had in your 40s and 50s. But you're often given less time to explain them. You might be managing multiple medications, something that would have been unthinkable when a daily aspirin was considered preventive medicine. And frankly, some of today's younger doctors have had limited training in geriatric care, which is like expecting someone to repair a classic Buick when they've only worked on modern cars. But here's what makes this generation of seniors different from any before. You have more access to health information, more legal protections as patients, and honestly, more willingness to speak up than previous generations. You've lived through civil rights movements, women's liberation, and countless social changes that taught you the power of advocacy. The challenge is channeling that natural assertiveness in medical settings, where the power dynamic can feel intimidating. When you're wearing a hospital gown instead of your favorite comfortable clothes, and someone half your age is talking quickly about test results, it's easy to slip into a more passive role. Remember, by 2030, 1 in 5 Americans will be over 65. Healthcare providers need to learn how to serve us well, and we can teach them through our example. That's exactly why understanding what doctors really think is so crucial, because knowledge is power and you've got decades of experience in using both effectively. But here's the thing. You don't have to settle for rushed appointments or feeling dismissed. Recent studies show that seniors who use specific communication strategies get 40% more thorough examinations and significantly better health outcomes. Before I share the 6 shocking truths about what doctors really think about seniors and the powerful strategies to transform your healthcare experience, I want to invite you to join our growing community of empowered seniors. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right now. We're building something special here, a place where experience meets wisdom, and where every senior feels heard and valued. Give this video a thumbs up if you've ever felt rushed or dismissed at a medical appointment. And here's what I'd love to know. What's been your biggest frustration with healthcare lately? Share it in the comments below, because your experiences help everyone in our community learn and grow stronger together. The secret isn't about being difficult or demanding. It's about positioning yourself for success, using the same people skills that served you well through decades of life experience. And now, can you imagine what doctors really think about seniors? Truth number 6. Emotional health isn't really medical. Many doctors focus exclusively on physical symptoms while missing the emotional aspects of health that become increasingly important with age. It's like a mechanic who only looks under the hood while ignoring warning lights on the dashboard. Adjusting to retirement, dealing with the loss of friends or spouses, or coping with reduced independence can affect everything from sleep patterns to immune function. Yet these concerns often get brushed aside as not medical issues. Now, here's what I call your strategic preparation approach. And this strategy transforms you from a passive patient into an active healthcare partner, starting before you even leave home. Remember when you used to plan dinner parties? You'd write out your menu, check your pantry, make your shopping list, and think through the timing of everything. That same organizational skill is pure gold in healthcare settings. Create what I call your health story summary. A single page that tells your current health story clearly and concisely. Your action script? Doctor, I want to discuss how I'm feeling emotionally, because I know it affects my physical health. Can we talk about loneliness, anxiety, grief as part of my overall care plan? Truth number 5. Their life goals aren't that important anymore. Some doctors assume that once you reach a certain age, your goals shrink to simply staying comfortable. It's like assuming that everyone over 70 wants to spend their days in a recliner watching reruns of Gunsmoke, when many of you are planning trips, learning new skills, or pursuing hobbies you never had time for during your working years. Helen, a vibrant 76-year-old, wanted to keep playing tennis twice a week. When she mentioned knee pain, her doctor immediately suggested she take it easy and switch to gentler activities. Helen wasn't ready to hang up her racket. A sports medicine specialist helped her with targeted exercises and minor adjustments that kept her on the court for 3 more years, which gave her tremendous joy and social connection. This is where your specific symptom documentation method becomes invaluable. A strategy that draws on your natural attention to detail and pattern recognition. Instead of saying, "I feel tired," paint a clear picture. My energy levels dropped significantly 3 weeks ago. I now need a 2-hour nap after activities that never tired me before, like grocery shopping or doing laundry. Your action script. Start your appointments by sharing your goals. Doctor, I want to make sure you understand what's important to me. I'm planning to travel to see grandchildren, keep gardening, stay active in my community, and I'd like our treatment plan to support those goals. Truth number 4. Younger patients need more attention. This one stings because it's often unconscious, like a store clerk automatically offering help to a younger customer while assuming you're just browsing. In medical settings, this can mean shorter appointments, fewer follow-up calls, or delayed responses to your concerns. The reasoning often goes like this. Younger patients have more years to benefit from treatment. But this completely ignores quality of life and the incredible value of every healthy, active year, regardless of age. Would you tell Sophia Loren at 89 that her remaining years aren't worth investing in? Of course not. Here's where your partnership language technique really shines. Leveraging your decades of relationship building experience. Instead of saying, "I have this problem," try, "I'd like to work with you to figure this out." It's like the difference between complaining to a neighbor about a fence issue versus asking them to help you solve a property line question together. Your action script. Doctor, I want to make sure I'm receiving the same level of attention and treatment options you'd offer someone 30 years younger with identical symptoms. My quality of life and health goals are just as important to me now as they ever were. Truth number 3. Older patients won't follow complex instructions. Some doctors look at your gray hair and assume you can't handle detailed treatment plans. Like thinking someone who lived through rationing during World War II can't figure out a medication schedule. This assumption often leads to oversimplified treatments that might not be as effective as more comprehensive approaches. I knew a gentleman named Frank who was 82 when he had a heart attack. His first cardiologist gave him basic instructions and a simple pill regimen, assuming anything more complex would be overwhelming. Frank, who had managed a small business for 40 years and could still balance a checkbook without a calculator, wanted to be more proactive. His new cardiologist provided detailed dietary guidelines, an exercise plan, and even smartphone apps to track his progress. Frank thrived on the structure and achieved better results than anyone expected. This calls for your advocate integration approach. Remember how we used to bring our spouse or a trusted friend when making major decisions like buying a car or choosing contractors. The same principle applies to important healthcare appointments. But prepare your advocate properly. Brief them beforehand about your concerns, questions, and goals. Your action script demonstrate your engagement immediately. Doctor, I want to understand all my options. Could you please explain the most effective treatment available, even if it requires more steps? I'm very good at following detailed instructions when I understand the reasoning behind them. Truth number 2. Your symptoms are just normal aging. The second most dangerous assumption many doctors make sounds something like this. At your age, of course your back hurts. It's like assuming every creaky sound in a house built in 1965 is just normal settling, when it might actually be a pipe that needs attention before it burst. I'll never forget talking to Margaret, a 78-year-old retired teacher who loved tending her rose garden. When she started experiencing unusual fatigue, her first doctor waved it off as slowing down naturally. Margaret had been grading papers and managing 30 kids at a time. Well into her 60s, she knew the difference between being tired and feeling genuinely unwell. When she insisted on blood work, they discovered a thyroid condition that was completely treatable. 6 weeks later, she was back to pruning her roses and feeling like herself again. This situation demands your cultural bridge-building strategy, using your generational wisdom as a superpower to bridge communication gaps. When a doctor dismisses your symptoms as normal aging, try this exact phrase. I understand aging brings changes, but this feels different from my usual normal. Can we explore what else might be causing this? Then pause and wait for a real answer. Don't let them move on until they've addressed your concern specifically. Truth number 1. They don't need detailed follow-up. And now we reach the most shocking truth of all. The one that separates truly empowered seniors from everyone else. Many doctors assume older patients won't follow through with detailed care plans or maintain consistent communication. This assumption leads to rushed appointments and minimal follow-up, when seniors actually benefit most from ongoing relationship building. This is where your follow-up mastery system becomes your secret weapon, creating accountability and ongoing relationship building. Just like you did in your professional life when you followed up on important projects. After every appointment, send a brief message or make a quick call to your healthcare provider's office. Say something like, I wanted to confirm my understanding from today's visit. My next steps are list them, and I'll follow up in specific time frame about specific concern. The magic phrase for any situation. When you feel dismissed or rushed, try this. Doctor, I need you to help me understand why you're recommending this particular approach. I'm someone who does better when I understand the reasoning behind medical decisions. Most doctors will slow down and provide better explanations when they realize you're seeking to understand, not challenge their expertise. Remember, asking questions isn't being difficult. It's being responsible for your own health, something you've been doing successfully for decades. Now, as someone who's lived through enough decades to know that wisdom comes from experience, let me share some important safety considerations. These strategies work best when you approach them gradually, like breaking in a new pair of comfortable shoes. Don't try to completely transform your healthcare communication style in one appointment. Start with 1 or 2 techniques and build from there. If you're currently taking multiple medications, always bring an updated list with dosages and timing. Think of it like keeping your recipe cards organized. Accuracy matters, and healthcare providers need precise information to keep you safe. Never stop taking prescribed medications without discussing it with your healthcare provider first, even if you're experiencing side effects. Instead, use your new communication skills to have that conversation effectively. Say something like, "I'm experiencing some concerning side effects from this medication. Can we explore alternatives or adjustments?" If you have family members who help with your healthcare, make sure they understand these communication strategies too. Sometimes adult children or spouses can inadvertently undermine your autonomy by speaking for you rather than with you. Have a gentle conversation about how they can best support your healthcare advocacy. When choosing a new healthcare provider, don't be afraid to interview them just like you would any professional you're hiring. Ask questions like, "How do you prefer patients to communicate concerns between appointments?" Or "What's your approach to working with seniors who want to be active partners in their healthcare?" Remember, you have the right to change providers if someone consistently makes you feel dismissed or rushed. Your healthcare relationship should feel respectful and collaborative, not adversarial or patronizing. Trust your instincts. They've served you well for decades, and they're still reliable now. If something feels wrong or if you're not getting satisfactory answers, seek a second opinion. Your health is too important to leave to chance, and you have every right to advocate for the care you deserve. Think about how you'd handle choosing a contractor for major home repairs. You'd get multiple estimates, ask detailed questions, and make sure you felt comfortable with their approach. Your healthcare deserves the same careful consideration and partnership mentality. Most healthcare providers entered their profession to help people. And when you approach them as collaborative partners rather than passive recipients, you often tap into their natural desire to provide excellent care. Now let me give you a practical week-by-week plan to implement these strategies, because I know you appreciate clear, organized approaches to new projects. Week number 1, cultural bridge building practice. Start by practicing your generational wisdom as a communications superpower. This week, focus on bridging communication gaps in low-stakes situations. Try it with younger service providers or even family members. Practice phrases like, "Help me understand, is this like when," followed by a comparison they can relate to. Notice how people respond when you gently translate between communication styles instead of getting frustrated with differences. Week number 2, advocate preparation and partnership language. If you have a regular healthcare appointment coming up, invite a trusted friend or family member to join you. Spend time before the appointment explaining what you hope to accomplish and what kind of support you need. This week, also practice partnership language in various situations. Try it with your pharmacist, dental hygienist, or other healthcare professionals you see regularly. Use phrases like, "What do you recommend?" or "I'd like to work with you on this." Notice how people respond differently when you approach them as collaborators rather than service providers. Week number 3, documentation skills development. Start keeping a simple health journal. Nothing fancy. Just a notebook by your favorite chair where you jot down symptoms, energy levels, or concerns as they happen. Think of it like tracking your garden's progress or keeping notes about family visits. Practice describing symptoms with the same careful detail you'd use to describe how to make your famous pot roast. This week, also practice the 3-question rule with any healthcare provider you see. What's the most likely cause? What are all my treatment options? What should I watch for? Week number 4. Strategic Preparation Mastery. Now create your health story summary. Think of it like organizing your recipe collection. But for your health, set aside a quiet morning with your favorite cup of coffee and write down your current health concerns in clear, simple language. Include your main concern at the top when it started, what makes it better or worse, and any treatments you've tried. Practice presenting this information clearly and concisely, just like you'd explain a complex recipe to a friend. Week number 5. Follow-up systems integration. After your next healthcare appointment, try the follow-up mastery technique. Send a brief, friendly message confirming your understanding and next steps. Keep it simple and professional, like following up after a meeting with an important contractor or service provider. Week number 6. Comprehensive strategy application. Now you can combine multiple strategies in one appointment, building the comprehensive approach that will transform your healthcare experience. Remember to give yourself credit for taking charge of your health advocacy. These skills take time to develop, just like any other important life skill you've mastered over the years. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the small victories along the way. Document your successes in your health journal. Note when doctors spend more time listening, when you feel more confident asking questions, or when healthcare providers treat you with the respect you deserve. You know what I love most about our Senior Tips and Secrets community? We're all walking this healthcare journey together, sharing the wisdom we've gained through decades of life experience. Every time you use these strategies successfully, you're not just improving your own healthcare, you're paving the way for every senior who comes after you. Think about the changes you've witnessed over the years, from rotary phones to smartphones, from corner groceries to supercenters. Healthcare is changing too, and we seniors are perfectly positioned to help guide that change in positive directions. After decades of taking care of others, whether children, parents, spouses, or communities, it's time to apply that same care and attention to advocating for yourself. You've navigated everything from party line telephones to smartphones, from handwritten letters to email. Managing healthcare advocacy is just another challenge you're completely capable of handling. The most important thing to remember is this: your health concerns are valid, your goals matter, and you deserve the same quality care you'd want for your children or grandchildren. Age brings wisdom, not irrelevance. Every year you've lived has taught you something valuable about your body, your needs, and what works for you. Don't let anyone, doctor included, make you feel like your health concerns are less important because of the year on your birth certificate. Your voice matters, your health matters, and you have every right to expect medical care that honors both your wisdom and your future. I'd love to hear how these strategies work for you. Drop a comment below and share your healthcare advocacy victories, no matter how small they might seem. Did a doctor spend more time listening? Did you feel more confident asking questions? Did a healthcare provider treat you more like the intelligent, experienced person you are? Celebrate these wins with our community, because your success encourages others to speak up for themselves too. If you found value in today's conversation, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. We're building a community where senior wisdom is valued, where health concerns are taken seriously, and where every member of our generation gets the respect and care they deserve. Together, we're not just aging, we're leading the way toward better health care for everyone.